Are you a business owner who wants to scale your business through social media? Or how can you differentiate yourself from your competitors? In this episode of Connect with Thomas, I invited Justin Lam, the Chief Strategist from 360 Media, to share his insights on his marketing strategies and how do you develop your personal brand so you never have to chase clients again. Good afternoon, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Thomas. How are you?
I'm good as well, too. So for those of you who don't know Justin, so let me do a quick introduction. So Justin is actually the owner of 360 Media and the Chief of Strategy and Execution. Now, I know you're very well experienced on both on hand-on jobs like taking photos or video shooting, but also I know you're super creative on your marketing strategies, which later on we're going to dive deep into it. And I also know that you are in the top 3 for the best photographers in Vancouver, both in 2018 and 2019. And not only that, your business is also recognized excellence by the 3 best rated business in 2019. So, there's a lot of things that I really want to go through, but let's just start out with a warm-up question. So why is 360 Media? Where does that name come from? How did you come up with that? What is your role in there?
Well, when I first started 360 Media, I already knew as an entrepreneur that I didn't want a brand associated with my name by itself. So not Justin Lam Photography, which there's a lot of people who do that. I knew deep inside that I wanted a brand that was existential. It stood on its own. It was its own entity. And I toyed around with a bunch of different names. 360 came about because of what I really wanted to envision. And I wanted to envision encompassing the world around you, is really being comprehensive and looking at all variables and making sure that I cover all bases. And so the reason why 360 ended up sticking was because of that. Through our photography, I would look at all different aspects of a wedding or different aspects of a marketing campaign. And then as we mature and grew into strategy and development, it's the same. A lot of marketing agencies focus primarily on a single avenue of business, which is like either social media, pay-per-click, or print advertisement, and they're all great and they're specialists in those arenas, but there are not very many people who are really good generalists, people who can tie all of the pieces together, and that's something that I'm deeply passionate about. I look at the whole world, the whole 360-degree view, as you can imagine, of what that looks like, and then pulling the strings together so that it comes together as one cohesive piece and not as fragmented parts, because that's what gets people frustrated.
For sure, because I think right now, take me for example. I always believe that I'm good at talking to people, making financial plans for other people as well too. But then I actually don't know anything about like how to do social media, how to do marketing. All I need to do, hey, you know what, Justin, I just want a client sitting right in front of me. The rest I want to delegate to you. So since you mentioned the word social media, actually that will be my first question will be, is social media equals to marketing? Because I know that when I go on YouTube, when I go online, there's so many ad pops up that says, hey, you know what? You need to leverage social media. You need to do a funnel to attract clients to come in. So my question will be, does small business need to leverage social medias to scale?
Well, the simple answer is no, they don't need it. But the more comprehensive answer is that it is part of an arsenal of marketing. And marketing is really the capacity to attract attention from your consumers. And you can do that in a variety of ways instead of just social media. But it's everything from word of mouth all the way to the print, the brochures that you send out. All of those are marketing materials. And we focus so much and so heavily on a digital medium because in a sense, it's free, but it's also very complex. And, the more people and more users that are online, the harder it is for you to stand out. So in order for you to really get a great, leveraged campaign out of it, it really means that you really have to think outside the box. You really have to do things that make yourself stand out because, when everybody is in the same medium, yes, you have attention, but you have to stop the attention. And so that's why I think business owners right now actually have a great opportunity that they can leverage some traditional mediums and get away from those people who are unplugging out of the system because it's so overwhelming. Or they can go back to door knocking. They can go back to handshakes and networking in real person in real life instead of just online. Online is just another medium, and it depends on your business goals. It depends if you're wanting to scale. How much are you willing to scale? What are you scaling for? And I'm a really big proponent of fulfillment as well as scale. I don't believe that you should be scaling your business at the expense of your fulfillment in life, because at the end of it all, you're going to be at the very top and you're not going to be happy. And we don't want that. We want both. There's nothing wrong with wanting to attract more business, but what is it really for? What are you really serving? And then we look at social media, what platforms specifically, or what mediums we look for that fit that campaign, whether it's a website, blog, whether it's YouTube video, social media. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many ways to do it. But small business owners have a real big issue because most of us have limited resources. We don't have a ton of money. And if we don't have a ton of money, then where are you going to focus your attention? And so, by understanding your own business, by understanding your own brand and what you strive to do, then you're going to understand what type of mediums, whether they're digital or in physical format, what's going to serve your business best.
I see. So you mentioned now I heard that the words that come from is like branding and marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about what is the difference between the two? Because when I first kind of get into the industry, I thought that, oh, you know what? All I need to do is just to spend like $50, $100 to do a boost on the Facebook post, and then people get to know, and then more people know you, then they will come to you. Is that correct?
Well, it's like everything else that's marketing. If that was the case, then everybody would only be spending $50 and everybody would be coming in through your doors. And we all know that doesn't happen, does it? And so I think maybe the deeper question that you're asking is what's the difference between marketing and brand?
Exactly.
And so marketing is really the process of garnering attention. It encompasses advertisement. It encompasses design, production, storytelling. All of those things are part of what marketing is, and it's the design of trying to attract a consumer to your brand, your company. Your brand, on the other hand, is a reputation. It's a promise that you're delivering on a day-to-day basis, and that's super important distinction, because you can spend a ton on marketing and you can have a really lousy brand and you're not going to get anywhere. But you can spend very little on marketing as well and have an amazing brand that self-propagates. And the important distinction between those two is that, the stronger your brand is, the less money you can spend. Now, I'm not saying that you should spend, but the less money you can spend on marketing mediums, because the reputation is so strong, it could drive up the demand cycle for your product or service, and then you can't maybe keep up with volume, in which case then you can kind of not put so much money into the marketing aspect of it because you're just busy, serving the customers. However, if you're at a deficit where you don't have the capacity, that you want, that you need more, then marketing obviously can come into play. And there's two parts of it. The marketing is to drive the traffic into your business. The brand is what keeps them in your business, right? Because let's just say a financial planner, for instance, they can go to 100 of different financial planners, and all of them offer very similar products, very similar services. So how are you going to stand out? How is your reputation going to stand above the rest, so that they're going to want it to have that affinity, that brand desire to work with you? Why would they want to choose you over somebody else, either at your firm or somebody else at a different firm? And so by producing a very well thought out brand, one that lives up to its own reputation, and that serves the client that you really ultimately want to serve, and you serve them well, they become raving fans. And raving fans are what keeps a business running. And there's a marketing saying that if you find your tribe of 1,000, those 1,000 people can sustain your business indefinitely. And of course, once you get there, you're going to want to have more and more people. But 1,000. I think you should work at the first 1,000 and honor those first 1,000 who are your like first customers. And I think a lot of people are so busy hunting for new clients, they're not really farming and nurturing those relationships that they have, and extracting, not extracting, but serving those people in a way that is really helping them towards their goal. And of course, you're remunerated financially.
So Let me ask then, what will be some of the initial actions or steps to develop your own branding? Is there certain questions that we need to ask ourselves? Do we talk to our target audience?
Well, all of the above. But there's, I have a course and I have a strategy that I help small business owners work through in order to help them grow their business and help them identify what their brand is. And the truth is deep inside, you know what it is, but it's really hard to articulate. And I think that's the struggle that most business owners have. They, by its very nature, by the way that you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis, and we're talking about sole proprietors here, or sole individual owners, because they're the embodiment of their brand and the embodiment of their business. When you go to multiple layers of corporations, the same philosophies apply, but different application. But for all intents and purposes, we'll just focus on small business. But on a small business level, the way that you conduct your business, the way that you do things, the way that you focus, the way that you phrase things, all of those things get tied together. And you do it so innately, so automatically that you don't even notice it. And that's the hard part, is because what you think is easy, what you think you do, what you do every day is easy for you, might not be normal for somebody else. And that becomes your secret sauce. That becomes your brand. And the hard part is it's really hard to sit still long enough to just think about it. I mean, how many times have you or any other business owner who might be watching this really have ever spent the time to sit down in front of a piece of paper and really think about themselves, like really think about their business, because they're so busy putting out fires. And so you're not having the ability to concentrate, coagulate that into a format that allows other people within your organization to take it and scale, to run with it, to duplicate yourself, essentially, to build that brand and build yourself a business. And so, ultimately they get frustrated because they'll hire somebody and they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand how to treat customers the way you do, and your customers feel it. There's a disconnect, right? And so, when we do the course, we're trying to help you find what your secret sauce is, right? And then taking that and applying it to the business aspect of, what your business serves, where it sits in the market, and then how we start to craft that story. So it seems like a long and arduous journey, but I think that anybody who, really treats their business as something valuable to them, something that they deeply, innately care deeply about for the long term, really should take that time to invest in the brand. And because that brand can be perpetuated, once you do it once and do it well, you can actually multiply that. So say today you're a financial planner, your brand is still your brand. The way that you conduct business is still the way you conduct business, whether you're a financial planner or you own a restaurant, or maybe you decide to own an airline one day, Thomas. You're going to operate it very similarly because that's the way you operate. But if you do this brand right, this Thomas Chan brand that you could have can be applied to any business, which makes it so much more powerful, because then it takes you away from being a pigeonholed individual for one particular product, because you can apply those philosophies over multiple brands, multiple strategies, multiple divisions in a business ecosystem.
For sure. And the first name that you come up with, the personal branding, could be Elon Musk or Virgins, pretty much that they have this one line of business and suddenly they have to, the other one is also successful as well too.
And you take a look at that. The important thing, like Richard Branson, owner of Virgin, if you take a look at the different aspects of Virgin, they retain the same brand structure, the same rebellious, like against the grain kind of feeling to it. And same with Elon Musk, they're very pioneer. And I mean, those are the extreme cases. And, we obviously want to aspire to the best, right? I think everybody, when we're reading these books, we're looking at Gary Vaynerchuk, we're looking at Elon Musk, we're looking at, the epitomes of success. And, we try to model them. But, the hard part is if we look back at ourselves and look at our own internal process, we're not being truthful to ourselves. We're letting society dictate what we want or what they think that we want because we're not confident in it. And you take a look at what's common among all the individuals that we idolize, they're very confident in themselves. They stand alone and they're okay to step outside the boundaries and be ridiculed because they're okay with it. That they're okay to be looked as the black sheep in their community because they're serving something more. They don't have to answer to anybody but to themselves. And when a business owner can get to that stage, that's really powerful, because then you really start to attract your audience, right? Whereas most people, I think, especially in the early days of entrepreneurship, they're so busy just trying to serve clients and trying to make sure that, they're not losing people out of the entire in their entire business, right? They want to keep them happy, and so they'll just do whatever the customer wants. They bend over backwards. They become people pleasers, and then they're wondering, why am I not happy? Why am I getting these same clients over and over again? Why can't I get better clients? How come that guy gets better clients? And that's the struggle. That's the struggle that all business owners have, because, you're not comfortable in your own skin. And so when I help work with clients, I focus on getting them comfortable in their own skin, to own who they really are, because that's the shift. That's the shift where I can get you out of, being a salesman, because that's what everybody is. When you first start your business, you're a salesman.
Mhm.
Getting you out of being a salesman to being a owner, to owning who you are as an individual, and then taking that and propagating a brand out of that, so that you're not the salesman, that you're a beacon to be attracted, that you're going to attract the mosquitoes to you, instead of you chasing the mosquitoes and trying to smack them around. It's far less exhausting when you're attracting them to your ecosystem than you trying to chase them down. If you were to have this all over again in another year, the business that we're hurting now are going to hurt even more, and they're going to be out of the game. My advice to people is, whatever you want to do, whatever you want as a goal in your life, chunk it out.